Class, today we are going to learn and talk a little bit about the different types of books, both fiction books, books like Frog and Toad, books like The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and nonfiction books, which are fact books, books that tell us and teach us about a certain topic, like From a Tadpole to a Frog, or Backyard Insects. Or another book we'll look at today is called Sea Turtles. So the majority of the books that we have used this year fall into the fiction category, meaning they are books that are stories. Stories with characters that are set in a certain place. Often the characters have problems and solutions. Like I think about some of the fairy tales we read, or the stories of the Big Bad Wolf, or we may have read Henry and Mudge, or you may have read other books like some Tommy DePaula books or Big Anthony, some of those books. But in every book that we read or every story that we read, we talk about the fact that the story has a beginning and a middle and an ending. And we read these books, we read them from front to back. We don't look at them and try to find just specific information. When you studied your planet, you used a nonfiction book. A nonfiction book has labels and diagrams. Sometimes the illustrations are photographs. Sometimes it makes a comparison between things. And sometimes always there are amazing facts. For instance, this is a picture of an up-close part of the turtle's head. And you can see that it has a diagram of the eyes and the nostrils and the hearing organs. And sometimes it'll tell us that turtles have tears, but it explains why it looks like it's having tears. It's not crying like you and I do. And in this case, this book does a comparison between the difference between a sea turtle, which lives in the ocean, and a turtle that can live on both land and water. What all these books have in common is they all have a title. They all have illustrations of some kind. You can learn interesting things from both books, and both books are fun to read. But this week we are going to learn and read from a nonfiction book called From a Tadpole to a Frog. And you may think that you know everything about the life cycle of a frog. You may have studied it, you may have learned about it in kindergarten. But I have found that we always learn new things from books. In fact, in reading this book, you can tell that I found some new information. There's an exclamation mark over there on a sticky note. So one of the things that you will need tonight is tomorrow, when you read, is you will need to get some sticky notes. And as I was reading this book, there was a fact on this page that I had no idea that was so interesting to me and surprising to me that I put new fact, which is the N, an exclamation point for wow, that was really amazing. So, like last week, I'm going to have you read your book a little bit by little bit, and there are going to be questions for you and your mom and dad to talk about. But in addition to that, I would like for you to get out your sticky notes so that you can write fun facts or new fact on it that you learned. At the end of this book, you're going to get to tell me about some of the new facts you learned, and also you're going to draw me a picture of the life cycle of a frog. Enjoy